And I've been enjoying these lives because many of you might know there's a lot of time that goes into a lot of these, especially the widescreen, long form video content, but all content on YouTube to be competitive in what is a hyper competitive environment today takes so much time. These lives, I can just come on and share stuff with you. And also, sometimes I've got some great stuff to share that I don't get out, right? And this is where, like, sometimes perfection is, it kills progress, all right? I got something that can help you right away today, but I want to wait till it's ready to go, or I experiment further, or fine tune reform. Sorry, it's been already a long day. But this is called uneven sitting. If you have ever had a history of lower back pain, typically the QL, a muscle on both sides of the spine right here, Quadratus Lumborum, is the culprit. It gets tight, it gets overactive, it can spasm, it can also get over lengthened depending on what's going on. It tends to hurt people that do a lot of rotational sport like golfing, anything like that. A lot of trunk rotation. It can actually be problematic for boxing. I do a lot of boxing, especially when you don't switch your stances and work on your hip rotation. But a lot of the causes too come from being seated a lot. Particularly, I've talked about this in the past. I'm sorry for the crotch shot, but there's no other way I can really show this stretch because ultimately the QL attaches into your lumbar spine, lower back, and the iliac crest or the pelvis. So your pelvis is actually the key to really maximizing its position and also stretching and releasing the area. So, a lot of times when you're driving, right, we only pedal with the right foot. So you tend to get hiked up on one side and you're active only on one side. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but your body, it essentially changes your pelvic positioning, right? Instead of being level on both sides, one side rises, turns, and rotates. And now your lower back is, in one QL is going to be really put to the test. So here's what I'm doing. I've got what's called the sand dune stepper, but I have other options you can use this for. A half foam roller works, even an ab mat. Again, the less elevation, the better early on, because this can be kind of, Prince Hamilton, what's up, baby? This can be kind of challenging if you're new to it. But what I'm trying to do here is, you can see it. And by the way, you can even sit off of the edge of a box or chair that's stable enough for you to get most of your mass on this side. But I'm just going to put one cheek here, and the other side is basically going to dip off the edge of that platform. Now, this already, I'm feeling a massive stretch into the QL on my left side. I'm basically dipping off to the right, and I'm stretching this QL. But I'm also, on this top side, I'm actually mobilizing the hip capsule. So for me, I have my right QL is prone to tightness. I also missing flexion and rotation on this right hip, and the capsule itself is stiffer. So I'm going to be doing both sides, but this side is actually more of a stretch for, this QL on my left side, but I still feel an excellent stretch into my right. And again, I'm not just, this is passive kind of dipping off and stretching. And then what I can do is, and then I'm dipping off me. I'm sorry for the crotch. No other way I can shoot this by myself. So I'm dipped off and it's hanging off, and then I'm getting active. So it's kind of like going between a parallel squat where you're active isometrically holding, and then deep squat, kind of just passive, relax. Just you get a bigger stretch, you're deep into it, but you're not really working the muscles. So I can kind of go between the dip off and then squaring off my pelvis, and basically doing kind of an active seated squat position, working on leveling off the pelvis with that dip. Now let me switch sides. And this is so now I'm going to basically go to the other side here. You can see I'm dipping off, and here we go. And again, I'm just letting it come off to the side. Now I can enhance this. So right here, you can see if I'm level, now look at my shoulders, right? Here I am kind of dipping off to the side, and I can tie it in by coming right over the top like this. And I get a huge stretch into not only my QL, but my obliques. And I'm also really getting those muscles around the pelvis going too. And then again, here's passive, active. You can see that hip lift, right? I'm down, up, down. And again, I can be upright, and then I can also actively hinge. And that's where the hinge is where I really start to feel some big tension release. I can also wrap over, twist, and I can pull away from that side. And now I'm really stretching all of those spinal rotators and side benders in a really nice way. And again, this is a great drill. Look at that. Dip, up. So here's how I'd recommend doing this. You can bring with you, and again, the half roller is excellent. What I like about the sand dune stepper is, you see, it's got a lot of give. It's not, it's expensive though. It's about $250. This is cheap as fuck, okay? This is like, I don't know, this is not expensive. This is even cheaper. And this gives you, on a hard surface, this will give you just enough of a hip dip to create that pelvic drop, all right? That will stretch those tiny little muscles that can cause such big problems for your lower back. So you take a half roller, you can put it on. I'm driving for 4 hours tomorrow to visit some friends for business, and I'm going to be bringing this with me. And every, 10, 20 minutes or so, I'll just switch which side is elevated, particularly because, like I said, when you're driving and you only can pedal with the right, you go from a level pelvis to this, and then sometimes it twists off. And that's going to get you in positions where now your body locks into that state because you're talking about hours and hours of time. So again, dropping off to the side, getting active, adding some stretch away from the side that's dipped off, adding some rotation both ways. All right. So just start playing with this and start driving motion and teaching one side of the pelvis to drop off to the side. And again, if I went over to, here's a box. And again, I like to do it where you kind of resemble your squat shape, right? So you can mimic this anyway. And by the way, I'm going to end up making a deep dive, widescreen, highly edited, good stuff like this coming for you down the road. But I want to get something quick to my diehards. I just want to get after it right away and start benefiting, even coming off to the side like this, right, of the box. So, but I do like it so that if you get your legs at about 90-degree angles or a parallel thigh squat position, right, you want to mobilize the positions that you're trying to really change, right? So you want to improve your squat position and you have lower back pain while squatting. You want to get into that squat shape. And what I'm going to try to do in this case is just let that hip dip off to the side. Let the weight of the leg dip off. And then again, I can tie in that lateral stretch away. So I hope this helped you guys. Simple like, share, subscribe means a lot. I'll keep giving you guys great content along the way. Tomorrow, if I can find some time, I'll even share some of the stuff I'm taking with me on the road trip to kind of battle the stiffness and tightness and inflammation that comes from driving. So stay tuned for that. And any questions, let me know. But again, it's uneven sitting, passive, active, adding some hinging, some side bending, some rotation to unlock that QL. It'll make a big difference. I've been doing it for about a week now. Shared with my wife as well, who's had a history of pelvic and lumbar spine pain. And it's really helping tremendously because, again, a lot of times you're stretching areas. You can stretch the muscles a lot easier than you can the actual joint capsule. So in terms of getting that stiff hip loose, and then again, those small, tiny muscles that QL, they lie beneath your lats and your spinal erector. So it's tough to get to them with massage, and it's tough to find ways to stretch them. And the best way to do it is creating some sort of pelvic dip. And you can do long periods of time like this seated. I actually just finished my walks. I'm cooling my feet because I went totally barefoot. And just do about 10 minutes on each side here while I'm having my midday shake. All right, guys, have a great day. Hope this helps you guys. Peace.